This is Discover USA Collapse, and today we're exposing the hidden dangers lurking inside America's favorite warehouse giant. Costco has built a reputation for trust, bulk savings, and family-sized comfort. But behind the towering shelves and smiling samples lies a troubling reality. Over the last few years, recall after recall has rocked the chain, pulling products straight off the shelves after shocking revelations of contamination, hidden chemicals, and safety violations. These aren't obscure items you've never heard of. They are some of the most popular foods millions of families put on their tables every single week. And yet, the very foods we thought were safe are now tied to salmonella outbreaks, toxic, metals, and dangerous additives that could harm your health far more than you realize. So today, we're counting down the 10 Costco favorites you should never touch again. Because they've already faced nationwide recalls, lawsuits, and consumer outrage. And when we reach number 1, you'll see why Costco's reputation may never fully recover. Number 10. Kirkland Signature Frozen Berries. Costco's Kirkland brand has always been marketed as the safer, cheaper, trusted alternative to big labels. But in reality, their frozen berry mixes have been tied to some of the most alarming recalls in recent memory. In 2019, Costco had to pull bags of Kirkland frozen raspberries off the shelves after testing revealed contamination with norovirus, the same stomach-churning illness that can sweep through schools, nursing homes, and cruise ships in hours. Then, in 2023, the nightmare returned when hepatitis A concerns forced another round of recalls tied to frozen organic strawberries supplied by a major farm distributor. For a chain that promotes health and family safety, the idea that a scoop of berries could infect you with a liver-damaging virus is devastating. And it's not just theory. Dozens of confirmed hepatitis cases were traced back to these very bags. Customers who thought they were buying the healthy option for smoothies and breakfasts were suddenly facing blood tests, vaccines, and weeks of fear. The damage wasn't just physical. It was a betrayal of trust. Costco tried to distance itself by pointing fingers at suppliers, but to the shopper, it doesn't matter. If it's on Costco's shelf, it carries Costco's name. And these berries proved that even a simple frozen fruit bag could hide a silent, dangerous threat. Number 9. Costco Rotisserie Chicken. For years, this $4.99 bird has been Costco's crown jewel, the loss leader that brings millions through the door. Families pick it up for an easy dinner, believing it's a bargain that can't be beaten. But behind the crispy skin lies a darker reality that has sparked lawsuits, exposés, and health warnings. Investigations have shown that Costco's poultry operation in Nebraska runs a massive industrial-scale farm system, churning out chickens that grow unnaturally fast, often so large they can barely walk. Former employees and animal welfare groups documented shocking conditions, and in 2022, a lawsuit accused Costco of knowingly violating animal cruelty standards to keep prices low. But the ethical scandal isn't the only danger. Nutritional testing has revealed that Costco's rotisserie chickens are loaded with sodium, preservatives, and injected solutions that double the salt content of a home-cooked bird. One chicken can contain over 1,200 milligrams of sodium per serving, nearly half of what seniors should consume in a day. And yet, many families eat it weekly, thinking it's a healthy shortcut. The recalls tied to bacterial contamination over. The years only add to the risk. What was once Costco's proud staple has become a symbol of what happens when a bargain comes at too high a cost. Cheap for the wallet, but expensive for your health. Number 8. Kirkland Signature Peanut Butter. At first glance, this looks like one of the safest, most wholesome buys in Costco's aisles. Parents grab it in bulk for school lunches, snacks, and quick breakfasts, trusting that a simple jar of peanut butter couldn't possibly be dangerous. But history tells a different story. And it's one that still haunts the US food system today. Back in 2009, a massive salmonella outbreak tied to contaminated peanuts triggered one of the largest recalls in American history. More than 700 people across 46 states were sickened, 9 died, and Costco had to pull its Kirkland peanut butter because it was supplied by the very same factory at the center of the scandal. Court documents later revealed that the company responsible had shipped products even after positive salmonella tests. For Costco shoppers, that meant a jar sitting in their pantry could quietly make their entire family sick, with no warning until it was too late. And the nightmare doesn't end there. Consumer watchdogs have since warned about aflatoxins, toxic compounds created by mold that can contaminate peanuts during storage and transport. These aren't just minor irritants. Long-term exposure has been linked to liver damage, suppressed immune function, and in some studies, even cancer. When you're buying peanut butter in bulk tubs, the risk of improper storage skyrockets, especially if suppliers cut corners. Add in the fact that some Kirkland peanut butters over the years have been found with added sugar, hydrogenated oils, and salt that push the nutritional profile closer to junk food than health food. And suddenly, the wholesome image crumbles. Parents thought they were spreading love on toast, but in reality, they were spreading a hidden cocktail of risks, from deadly pathogens to slow-acting toxins, all hidden behind a label they thought they could trust. Costco built its reputation on safety and value, but with peanut butter, the cracks in that trust became painfully clear. Number 7. Kirkland Signature Hot Dogs. Few foods are more iconic to Costco than their $1.50 hot dog and soda combo, a deal that's become legendary and a point of pride for the company. Families stock up on the Kirkland hot dogs sold in bulk. Packs, thinking they're getting the same trusted product for cookouts, kids' lunches, and backyard gatherings. But behind the nostalgia and low price, these hot dogs have faced a wave of criticism and recalls that paint a darker picture. In 2019, reports surfaced of metal fragments and bone pieces discovered in processed meat products tied to Costco suppliers, forcing recalls across multiple states. While not every package was affected, it raised the unsettling possibility that a bite of a Costco hot dog could contain more than just meat. For a product eaten by millions, even one contaminated batch is enough to shake consumer trust. Then there's the nutritional bombshell. Kirkland hot dogs are massive compared to standard ones, and each serving can pack over 1,500 milligrams of sodium, 16 grams of saturated fat, and preservatives like sodium nitrite, which the World Health Organization has linked to an increased risk of colorectal cancer. Scientists have repeatedly warned that processed meats are Group 1 carcinogens, meaning the evidence of cancer connection is as strong as it gets. And yet, Costco continues to sell them in bulk, advertising them as family-friendly staples. For seniors and children, that level of sodium and chemical preservatives can trigger serious health issues, from high blood pressure and heart strain to long-term cancer risk. Customers often joke that Costco would never raise the hot dog price, but the real cost has never been about the register. The true price comes later, hidden in medical bills, chronic disease, and broken trust in a brand that pretends bulk equals safety. The Costco hot dog might be cheap, but for your health, it may be one of the most expensive foods you could ever put on your plate. Number 6. Costco muffins and baked goods. Costco's oversized muffins have become almost a cultural icon. Giant, soft, and sold in irresistible six-packs that feel like a bargain. Parents buy them for kids' breakfasts, offices stock them for meetings, and countless shoppers toss them into carts thinking, it's just a muffin. But hidden behind the sweet smell of chocolate chip and blueberry is a dangerous reality. Each muffin can pack more calories, sugar, and fat than an entire fast food meal. A single Costco muffin can top 700 calories with over 40 grams of sugar. That's equivalent to eating nearly 10 teaspoons in one sitting. Pair that with around 30 grams of fat and a sodium content higher than some burgers, and suddenly a sambusailam breakfast treat turns into a metabolic time bomb. For seniors and anyone with diabetes or heart concerns, it's a recipe for disaster. But the nutritional overload isn't the only problem. Over the years, Costco baked goods have faced recalls due to undeclared allergens, including eggs, soy, and nuts, which can be life-threatening to unsuspecting buyers. In 2020, for example, Costco was forced to recall thousands of baked items after suppliers admitted labeling errors, exposing consumers with allergies to severe risk. Combine that with preservatives, stabilizers, and cheap oils used to keep these goods shelf-stable for weeks, And what looks like a warm, comforting snack is actually an industrial product designed for profit, not health. Doctors warn that regularly. Eating products like Costco muffins can spike blood sugar, drive weight gain, and accelerate heart disease, all under the illusion of a harmless bakery treat. And here's the cruel irony. Costco markets these muffins as family-friendly, even value-packed. But in reality, they're engineered sugar bombs that could be quietly fueling America's obesity and diabetes crisis. A muffin should never have to come with a side of regret, but Costco's bakery aisle has turned breakfast into one of the most dangerous meals of the day. Number 5. Kirkland Signature Farmed Salmon. For years, Costco has promoted its Kirkland farmed Atlantic salmon as a healthier, more affordable protein option, and millions of shoppers buy it in bulk, believing they're making a smart, heart-friendly choice. But beneath the glossy pink fillets lies a story of contamination, hidden chemicals, and environmental damage that has sparked outrage worldwide. Unlike wild-caught salmon, farmed fish are raised in crowded pens where they are fed a processed diet and treated with antibiotics to keep disease at bay. Testing in the US and Europe has revealed that farmed salmon can contain alarmingly high levels of PCBs, polychlorinated biphenyls, dioxins, and other toxins that accumulate in the fish's fat. These industrial pollutants are linked to cancer, developmental issues, and immune system suppression. And some studies have shown that eating farmed salmon just once a month could expose you to more toxins than regulatory bodies consider safe. But the risks don't end with chemicals. Costco's salmon farms have faced scandals over sea lice infestations, antibiotics misuse, and environmental damage to surrounding waters. Critics argue that buying this salmon supports an industry that pollutes coastal ecosystems while selling customers a product that's far less nutritious than wild fish. The omega-3 levels in farmed salmon are often diluted compared to wild-caught, while the omega-6 fats, the kind tied to inflammation, are significantly higher. And yet, Costco continues to market it as a healthy choice, ignoring the mounting scientific evidence. Recalls have also hit frozen salmon products for contamination, further eroding trust. For seniors and health-conscious families, the betrayal is especially sharp. They turn to salmon thinking it will protect their hearts and brains, but instead, they may be consuming toxic residues and additives from a system designed for maximum profit, not maximum safety. Costco wants to sell the image of pristine fish from clean waters, but the truth is that Kirkland farmed salmon might be one of the most toxic health foods in their entire store. Number 4. Kirkland Signature Canned Tuna. For decades, tuna has been marketed as the lean, protein-packed food that belongs in every American pantry. And Costco capitalized on that image with its Kirkland canned tuna, sold in massive multi-packs. But what most shoppers don't realize is that these convenient cans carry a hidden danger that's been quietly poisoning consumers for years: mercury. Scientific testing has consistently shown that canned tuna, especially albacore, contains high levels of mercury, a neurotoxin that builds up in the body over time. For seniors, mercury exposure can worsen memory problems, weaken coordination, and trigger tremors. For children, it can impair brain development. And yet, Costco continues to sell it by the case, promoting it as a budget-friendly protein for the whole family. The story gets darker when you dig into where this tuna comes from. Investigations have revealed that some of Costco's tuna suppliers rely on destructive fishing practices that wipe out marine ecosystems, killing dolphins, sharks, and turtles as bycatch. Others have been accused of labor abuses, even forced labor, on fishing vessels that catch the very tuna ending up in Kirkland cans. Recalls have also plagued the tuna industry, with cases of contamination, mislabeling, and even tuna mixed with cheaper fish species to cut costs. What looks like a simple pantry staple is in fact a supply chain nightmare riddled with toxins, environmental harm, and ethical violations. And here's the cruelest twist: the very customers who buy tuna for health, seniors watching cholesterol, families trying to eat light, may be unknowingly increasing their risk of neurological damage and toxic exposure. Costco hides behind bulk deals and slick branding, but the reality is that their canned tuna is a ticking time bomb for your body and a disaster for the oceans. One cheap can might seem harmless, But multiplied across millions of households, it's a global crisis sitting right on Costco's shelves. Number 3. Costco pizza. For many families, grabbing a slice of Costco's famous food court pizza or taking home a giant box of frozen Kirkland pizza feels like a guilty pleasure that's still somehow safe. After all, Costco has always marketed its food court as a family-friendly place, affordable, clean, and reliable. But when you break down what's really inside that gooey cheese and oversized crust, it becomes clear that Costco pizza is one of the most deceptive foods. They sell a single slice can top 700 calories, loaded with more than 1 in 300 milligrams of sodium, 25 grams of fat, and an ingredient list that reads more like a chemistry experiment than a recipe. Hidden within are preservatives like BHA and BHT, emulsifiers, and bleached enriched flour, additives linked to inflammation, hormone disruption, and long-term health risks. For seniors and people with heart disease or high blood pressure, a couple of slices can push them well past their daily sodium and fat limits in one sitting. But it's not just nutrition that raises alarms. Costco's frozen pizza line has faced recalls due to undeclared allergens and even contamination concerns, forcing customers to check lot numbers and toss out entire boxes they thought were safe. And while the company defends itself by saying it responds quickly to problems, the fact remains, the problems exist in the first place, and they keep coming back. Investigations into the cheese industry supplying Costco also reveal troubling use of milk from factory farms tied to antibiotics, growth hormones, and inhumane practices. So while customers believe they're just indulging in an easy, cheap dinner, they may be funding an entire chain of industrial shortcuts that hurt both animals and consumers. The biggest danger of Costco pizza is psychological. People convince themselves that because it's Costco, not a greasy fast food chain, it's somehow better, maybe even cleaner. But in reality, each oversized pie is a calorie bomb engineered for addiction, stuffed with salt, sugar, and chemicals to keep you coming back. Costco may want to sell you pizza as comfort food for your family, but in truth, it's just another industrial trap, one that's slowly eating away at your health with every slice. Number 2. Kirkland Signature Cheese. Few Costco items feel more comforting than a massive block or shredded bag of Kirkland cheese. It's cheap, versatile, and a staple in millions of American kitchens. Melted on burgers, sprinkled on tacos, baked into casseroles. But beneath the creamy texture and nostalgic taste lies a dangerous truth about what this cheese really contains. Independent tests and consumer watchdog reports have pointed out that bulk cheeses like Costco's are often loaded with artificial anti-caking agents such as cellulose, which is literally powdered wood pulp, to keep shredded cheese from clumping. On top of that, many Kirkland cheeses are made with milk sourced from industrial mega dairies that rely heavily on antibiotics, hormones, and genetically modified feed. Those practices not only raise ethical red flags, but can also leave chemical residues in the final product. For seniors, who are more vulnerable to digestive issues, this kind of industrial cheese can be far harsher on the body than expected. The nutritional profile is equally troubling. A single serving of Kirkland cheddar or mozzarella can contain 200 milligrams of sodium and 6 grams of saturated fat, but few people stop at just one serving. When Costco sells you 5-pound bags, it encourages overconsumption, leading to spikes in cholesterol, clogged arteries, and increased risk of heart disease. And while cheese has been recalled in the past for listeria contamination, a bacteria that can be deadly to pregnant women, newborns, and seniors, Costco's bulk packaging makes outbreaks even harder to contain. One bad batch doesn't just affect a few blocks. It affects entire regions and thousands of families. What's most insidious is how Costco positions its cheese as wholesome, even premium. Shoppers see the Kirkland label and assume higher safety standards, but in reality, the product is built on the same cost-cutting, industrial shortcuts as the rest of the American dairy industry. It's not just cheese anymore. It's a processed, chemically padded product that carries risks far beyond the dinner table. And yet, people keep piling it into their carts, unaware that what feels like comfort food may actually be a slow, silent threat to their health. Number 1. Kirkland Signature Ground Beef. This is the single most popular item Costco sells. Over 1 billion pounds of Kirkland ground beef move through their stores every year. Families buy it in bulk packs, freeze it, and use it for everything. From spaghetti dinners to backyard burgers, believing it's safe, high quality, and affordable. But ground beef has long been one of the riskiest foods in the American diet, and Costco's reputation doesn't erase the danger. Over the past 2 decades, Costco ground beef has been tied to multiple recalls, some linked to E. coli outbreaks that left children hospitalized with kidney failure. The Centers for Disease Control has repeatedly warned that ground beef is one of the top carriers of foodborne pathogens, and bulk packaging only makes the risk worse. When you grind together meat from hundreds of cows across different facilities, one contaminated piece can infect an entire batch, and that batch is then distributed nationwide under the Kirkland name. But it's not only bacteria. Investigations into Costco's beef supply chain reveal ties to industrial feedlots, where cattle are fattened with corn, soy, and sometimes even questionable additives, pumped with antibiotics to survive unsanitary conditions. Those antibiotics don't just vanish. They contribute to the growing crisis of antibiotic resistance, one of the greatest threats to global health today. Add in the fact that some Costco beef comes from suppliers linked to deforestation in South America and environmental degradation in the US, and suddenly this isn't just a health issue. It's an ethical one too. Nutritionally, Kirkland. Ground beef also hides risks. Fat-heavy blends are sold at bargain prices, but a single serving can carry 20 grams of fat and 75 milligrams of cholesterol. For seniors, that's a direct threat to heart health. Even Costco's lean beef. Options are often higher in fat than labels suggest, and watchdog groups have accused suppliers of mislabeling fat percentages. In short, the beef you thought was lean and safe may be anything but. And here's the hardest truth. Costco has built its empire on the trust of American families. Shoppers believe that if it's on the shelf, it's safe. But with ground beef, the #1 product in their store, that trust has been betrayed time and time again, with recalls, contamination, and hidden supply chain abuses. If the food most people buy the most often is one of the riskiest items in the store, then what does that say about everything else on Costco's shelves? When you look at this list, a pattern becomes impossible to ignore. Costco has built its reputation on trust, safety, and family value. But time after time, their most popular foods have been recalled, contaminated, or exposed as dangerously unhealthy. From viruses in frozen berries to toxins in salmon and deadly bacteria in ground beef, the very products millions of Americans bring into their homes each week are carrying hidden risks that could devastate families overnight. And while Costco often points to its suppliers or claims quick action when problems surface, the truth is simple. The problems keep coming back. If the biggest warehouse retailer in the country can't keep its shelves clean, then what hope do smaller chains have? The question we're left with is this. Will Costco finally be forced to change? Or will customers continue to trade their health for convenience and bulk discounts? Maybe the real collapse isn't just in the food recalls. Maybe it's in the crumbling trust between shoppers and the companies they once believed in. So now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever returned a Costco product because of a recall, or found something in your food that made you lose trust? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to discover USA Collapse. Because what's happening on America's shelves today could change the way we eat tomorrow.